free speech. I asked him whether he thought it was under attack.
Because we're in a time of social tension, the impulse that a lot of people have is to pull back on free expression. And this isn't the first time in history when that's happened. That we saw that impulse during the civil rights movement, during tension after the world wars. And we always look back and regret it when we pull back on freedom of expression. And I worry that we're at a moment today where we may do the same. So I just think it's important now to stand up for freedom of expression. And that's what I wanted to do.
And is that true historically, even with...
I don't know if this is prepared. A lot of times when you get these people, the questions are pre-done, the answers are pre-done. And that little spiel that you just heard sounds very practiced, followed by a hard swallow. Denotes a lot of stress on that.
Technology, as technologies changed, that there was initial resistance?
Oh, yeah. I mean, look, it's not just technology. We've had this explosion.
He's sitting not relaxed. He rubs himself on the leg. That's a really big petting. So he's reassuring himself. A lot of stress. Now you could sit there and say, oh, it's because he's on TV. It's not like he does a lot of interviews, which is true. But he is familiar with speaking in front of audiences. He's very familiar with it. All his Facebook meetings, Facebook prep rallies, speeches, different groups, meeting with, very powerful people in the world. The whole idea of confronting, that's not new to him. Now, if we were looking at someone who doesn't give speeches, doesn't deal with anything that has to have power, you would go, oh, all the stress is understandable for that mentality. But we don't see this. We see an individual who's used to this kind of stress. And so to see this much stress, something seems to be going on. And we may even call it underlying stress, which means he brought whatever it is with him.
Of an ability to express ourselves. And that's cultural norms, it's legal protections, and it's technology. I think most Americans are probably aware of our Enlightenment history, that we enshrine the First Amendment of the Constitution. But our legal rights to call out things that we think are wrong have dramatically expanded, even in the last 100 years. Libel laws used to make it so you could impose damages if you called something out that was negative, even if it was true, what you were saying. And then, of course, the standards shifted, so as long as your critique was you could prove it true, you'd be okay. But it wasn't until, relatively recently, historically speaking, that we've gotten the ability to critique and call out things that we think are broadly wrong. And now.
And then we start hearing the song. The song not only goes but you stammer on the beginning of words. And because this is so prepared, even the movements in his hands, I would assume this is a PR stunt.
You have all these movements online, whether it's the Me Too movement or different things like that.
And speaking of the hand movements and things of that nature, you notice how they're not really coming out. They're staying within a little box. His little box. We're starting to see a personality type of staying within his own box. He portrays what he wants you to see, and he has a little box that he wants to stay in, kind of like a germaphobe. Beware of people who have to present themselves in a way that they feel is a good light.
Where people are sharing stories that actually would have been against the law to even write down 100 years ago. So this is just this amazing expansion of voice that I think leads to progress, and I just think we need to defend that.
But do you think that social media...
So he ends it up, he puts his hands on his knees, and you see them, his fingers are wiggling down there. Yeah, this is someone who's not even comfortable in their own skin. Now I know why you guys call him a lizard.
The Democrats had one of their debates this week in which there was a long exchange between Senator Kamala Harris of California and Elizabeth Warren. Kamala Harris said that she thinks that Twitter should shut down President Trump's account. Do you think that's a ridiculous idea?
I mean, it's hard for me to weigh in on Twitter's policies, but in general, no. I mean, look, my belief is that in a democracy, I don't think that we want...
That was hilarious. My belief. Spit it out. What is your belief? You ever seen a body fight so hard with the mind that it just wouldn't open the mouth? There was your moment to shine. My belief. Just if you don't quite understand that, he doesn't have a belief. My belief is pretty much saying what I'm about to say is not my belief. It gives me extreme stress to say it.
private companies censoring politicians in the news. I generally believe that as a principle, people should decide what is credible and what they want to believe and who they want to vote for. I don't think that that should be something that we want tech companies or any kind of other company doing. So that's something that I feel very strongly about. I worry about a social trend today where I see more people across the spectrum trying to label different speech as dangerous because it may lead to political outcomes that they don't want. And I think that there are real dangers and harms online that need to be addressed, and we definitely need to work on that, and we are. There's a lot that we're doing. But I also think that we need to do this in a way where we stand up for each other's right to express ourselves and be heard.
Senator Elizabeth Warren, you had a back and forth with her on Twitter last week, and she's very frustrated with your new policy about not being willing to police truth in advertisements, political advertisements, and basically asking how could Facebook in good conscience take money for ads and allow them to be posted if they know that the information that a politician is putting forward is false?
Look, I just think that
That was a lot of petting, and he's getting closer to his crotch as he does it. For a recap, petting is to soothe. So if you have an area where there's a lot of nerve endings, that is soothing to pet. That's how much stress they're trying to pet away. This is turning in a direction we don't want to go.
banning political ads favors incumbents, and it favors whoever the media chooses to cover.
It's interesting you say that because Elizabeth Warren, she also said she would not take any money from certain big tech executives for her campaign. But she does do a lot of fundraising through political advertisement and grassroots engagement on your platform.
Sure. I mean, as do a lot of folks. I mean, this is, a lot of the movement building. I mean, this is one of the things that I think is probably a positive use case of the internet is, now ideas and fundraisers and movements and people can grow businesses quicker than could ever happen before. And, there's a lot of good that comes from this. And there's some harm that we need to make sure that we mitigate. And our responsibility is absolutely to make sure that we get in front of things that could cause real danger. We have a massive investment in this today. We actually have more than 35,000 people at the company who work on security all in.
Is that in reaction to the 2016 election and complaints and the concerns about election security and Russian interference? And do you think Facebook is in a better position going into 2020 and with more protections?
Yeah, so it's, we really increased the investment in.
Yeah, I'm leaning towards they got all of these questions prior. He listens through. He doesn't have a search, a normal brain search, putting things together, accessing memory. None of that. He waits patiently for the question, gives a little nod, just a minute nod as she's ending the question, and that's it. And then he goes into a speech.
If you'd like to learn more about analysing body language, there is a video course available on Mandy's website for Gold subscribers, where Mandy teaches more about her techniques of deception detection. There's also other content such as the Crime series and Interesting Minds series available to both Gold and Silver subscribers.
If you like it, please share and subscribe. Thanks for watching.